What the hell is this guy doing? Oh my god. This is bloody awkward. I'm telling you, the whole West is laughing at this Modi character. He doesn't even hug his own party members in India while he's going around hugging the world leaders any chance he gets. Probably trying to spread the Indian variant across. Obviously, he's not in any lockdowns or anything like that. Absolutely hilarious, guys. Do you know what this reminds me of? Let me show you guys. Don't touch me, man! Absolutely hilarious, guys. Let me take you to the title. As you can see, awkward moment when India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi gets a little too close for comfort as he gives UN Secretary General a big hug at COP26. But he's going around hugging a lot of people as well. And in this article, he says, Prime Minister Modi's hugfest in Glasgow baffled foreign media. The press are having an absolute field day, guys. Instead of focusing on climate change, they're just focusing on Modi spreading his Indian variant around. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's known for his extra cordial greetings during his meetups with global leaders, was once again seen getting too close. Getting too close. Does he hug only world leaders? He's not known to greet Indian leaders or even his own party with hugs, nor can anyone recall any photographs. So you can see he seems to be hugging only world leaders. Is there a conspiracy going on? Is he trying to spread the Indian variant across? Because I don't see him going for any lockdowns or 2-week lockdowns, 3 weeks lockdowns as soon as he arrived in COP26. None of the leaders have. They're pretty much straight off the private jet. Absolutely ridiculous. One rule for us, another rule for them. I can't get away his face. Get away from me, man! Anyway, guys, that was just an introduction. This is the main part of the show. Before I start, I wanted to request you guys to like, share, subscribe, whatever you can to help support the channel, help the algorithm, and try and comment if you can. If your comments gets deleted by YouTube, try again. Sometimes it's keywords or swear words that YouTube doesn't like. So try again. And a lot of people, what they do is write their comments on a notepad first, and they copy and paste it on YouTube. And if YouTube deletes it, you don't lose all your work, basically. At least you've saved it in your notepad, so you can just edit a few words here and there and try again. So try that. And also, if you really like the video, don't forget to join my Patreon, or you can buy me a coffee if you really like it. So without further ado, guys, let's get on with the show. So everyone remembers Modi's pledge to go carbon neutral by 2070, right? So nobody has actually read the small print. The small print is they're happy to go to net zero by 2070 only if the rich nations cough up cash, and he's basically asking for 1 trillion in funds. So there's a lot of articles happening. As you can see, India wants 1 trillion before it raises targets to cut emissions. So all of these pledges Modi said on 2070, he's not going to do a thing unless he gets his 1 trillion from developed countries. And as you can see from this one as well, India leads resistance to deal as it demands the West offers more money. And also here it says, show us the money. India holds back on climate pledge until rich nations pay 1 trillion. So here's my thoughts, guys. First of all, don't make a pledge if you don't have the money to do so. I mean, look at India right now, right? India is not a poor country anymore. Used to be poor, but it's number 6, right? Its GDP is 3 trillion. It's above major countries like France, Italy, Canada, South Korea. There's a lot of G7 countries behind India at the moment. And India is spending a lot of money in its military and other things as well. It's very close to Great Britain. It's 1 trillion away from Germany. So, And Indians themselves don't think of themselves as developing country either. They think of themselves as equal as China. So has China asked for any money? China is also a developing country, and people who don't think China is a developing country, look at what developing country means. China is the largest developing country in the world. China is still considered a developing country based on the criteria of the World Bank and the United Nations. Despite being a developing country, China hosts the world's second largest economy. So China is also a developing country, and India is also a developing country. But China has not asked for any money to go to carbon neutral, and it's going carbon neutral 10 years before India is. And India, 1 minute they like to brag saying, "Oh, we're as strong as China. We're the next superpower. We're just as good and powerful as China. We're going to have a better manufacturing base than China," and they're bragging about being really powerful and a superpower, and next minute they can't even pledge to go neutral, carbon neutral. They want money from the West. Absolutely hypocrisy, guys. Seriously, absolutely hypocrisy. If India wanted to go carbon neutral, they could go carbon neutral instead of wasting money on military and other God knows what what other money they're wasting on. They could easily put that money aside to go carbon neutral. And yeah, I understand that the West has got an issue as well with the West has caused so much pollution around the world. Starting 200 years ago, the Americans, the British, they started their industrial nations way before all these other developing countries have. So they have a big job as well. So I'm not putting America off the hook or Britain off the hook. They need to do their bit, and they need to provide more, yes, to developing countries, but not to India. I mean, there's developing countries that need help the most. Like, you can see all of these countries here, like number 213, 212, 211. The countries that need it, mainly in Africa, and things like that. Not India. India's way at the top. It's number 6. So it's being really cheeky, guys, because the West has promised 100 billion to the developing countries by 2025 to help them go green, and they haven't even achieved that yet. So where the hell does Modi expect the West to pull out $1 trillion from? Seriously, they can't even afford 100 billion for these developing countries, and that's for all the developing countries. And now India wants 1 trillion for themselves. It wants the West to pay for it. And articles such as this, where it says India wants 1 trillion before it raises targets to cut emissions, they're almost like they're threatening, saying, "Oh, you pay us 1 trillion, otherwise we're not going to cut our emissions." It comes across very threatening. And not only that, I mean, look at the first sentence here. India has named its price in high-stakes climate talks. If the rich countries want it to cut planet warming emissions, they need to come up with 1 trillion of public cash by the end of the decade. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So if they're going to pay India 1 trillion, so they might as well pay China 1 trillion as well then. Do you want to do that? Because China's still a developing country. And India's going to say, "Oh, China's more of an emitter than us." Who cares? You want to be the manufacturing capital of the world, right? So you're going to have, at one point, you're going to have more factories than China. And China is working towards going carbon neutral 10 years before India is. So what's India going to do? Create loads of coal factories to build up its manufacturing sector? You still got this ridiculous Indian media that's throwing all sorts of rhetoric and propaganda against China. It's absolutely sickening, and I'm going to show you this, guys, if you haven't seen it before. Stuff like this is, it's funny, but it's hilarious, but it's also really stupid and hideous at the same time. So let me show you this.
For how long can you stay at home? 1 month? 3 months? 6 months? An entire year maybe? How about 654 days? Can you stay at home for almost 2 years? Most of us would reach a breaking point if we remain locked up for that long. But not Xi Jinping. He seems to prefer self-isolation. He hasn't left China for 654 days now, 1 year, 9 months and 15 days.
This stupid woman doesn't realize we're living in COVID times. Why should Xi Jinping travel to another country, go for a lockdown, then come back to China and have another lockdown? It doesn't make any sense, does it? This stupid woman, how many countries has this woman traveled in the last 2 years? I certainly haven't traveled for the last 2 years because of COVID. Why should Xi Jinping travel? Why should anyone travel?
Days to be exact. China has gone back to work, but not its president. He still prefers to work from home. The United Nations met in September. Xi Jinping wasn't there. The G20 summit happened last weekend. Xi Jinping joined on video call. The COP26 summit is on in Glasgow. Xi Jinping isn't there either. He's missing every...
So why is she picking on Xi Jinping for? Putin wasn't there. The Brazilian president wasn't there. The Saudi Arabian president wasn't there. The Turkish president wasn't there. So where's all, why does all these leaders have to travel by private jet and cause more CO2 and travel to one location? Why can't they do it through internet? This woman's absolutely ridiculous. Every time I hear her voice, it just makes me angry.
Global engagement. Why doesn't the Chinese president want to leave Beijing? Why is he hiding from the world? What is he trying to avoid? His absence is fueling speculation. Is there a health scare? Is someone challenging his grip on power? Is he embarrassed to face the world? These questions are being asked, and for good reason. You see, before the pandemic, Xi Jinping had built up a facade. He had positioned himself as the guardian of a multinational order. It was hard to believe, but that's what he tried to do. But the Wuhan virus has destroyed all of that. It has killed...
Can you see, guys? She's still calling this the Wuhan virus. What about the Indian variant that's going around? Can you see how disrespectful the Indian media is to the Chinese? I read a lot of Indian media and I read a lot of Chinese media. Not one point do I ever see Chinese media insulting towards Indians. And they never call it Indian variant or name calling. But this woman still calls it Wuhan virus. I mean, there's no evidence it's come from Wuhan, but yet she still calls it Wuhan virus. Absolutely disgusting, guys. I mean, Indians should be absolutely embarrassed by this channel. And these are the reasons why, Indians are not going to be liked around the world. And it's just, when I see this, it just makes me angry, guys. Seriously. And that's all I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you even more, because more I play this, more angry I get. So I just wanted to kind of give you a taster, really. I mean, who cares if Xi Jinping doesn't come to COP26? It's all about actions rather than words, right? I mean, Biden comes out of nowhere, does nothing, says a few words, blames Putin, blames Xi Jinping, then goes on his 85-car, motorcade, causing all sorts of CO2 issues around the world, goes on his jet, goes back home, and where's all the promises? Where's all the promises that the West made to the developing countries, giving them 100 billion? Where are they? It's about actions, not words. And when Trump comes into power, he's going to pull out again of the climate accord and any climate agreements that's been done. And what about the US military, which is the biggest polluter of the world? Why are they not involved? They're not even included in these climate talks, COP26, even the Paris Accord. So this woman, she really doesn't know what she's on about. So she's talking about climate change, is blaming China being the top producer of climate. Well, at least China's doing something. What's India doing? Nothing. India wants 1 trillion before he does anything. And what does India's Prime Minister do? He goes to this COP26, hugging every person he sees, transferring the Indian variant to any person he sees. What good is that? Seriously, what good is that? That's all I wanted to say for today, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.